Hello everyone, we are from Group I. Today we will discuss the cause and effect diagram. My name is Tan Thanh Job. Let us start with the introduction. What is cause and effect diagram? It is also known as fishbone diagrams or Ishikawa diagrams. It is popularized in the 1960s by Kaoru Ishikawa, one of the founding fathers of modern management. Cause and effect diagram is a tool that shows the relationship between a quality characteristic and possible source of variation. It graphically illustrates the relationship between all given outcome and all the factors that influence the outcome. A complete diagram will end up looking like a fish skeleton with a fish head to the right of the diagram and the bones branching off behind it to the left. To start with the fishbone, you need to state your problem as a question that's stood in terms of why, which then help in the brainstorming section. At the end, the entire team should agree on the problem statement and then place this question at the head of the fishbone. When should cause and effect diagram be used? The first is when we need to identify the possible root cause, the basic reasons for a specific effect, problem, or condition. It also can be used when we need to sort out and relate some of the interactions among the factors affecting a particular process or effect. The third is when we need to analyze existing problems so that corrective action can be taken. Why should we use a cause and effect diagram? The first is it uses an orderly, easy-to-read format to diagram all the relationships. It encourages group participation and outlines group knowledge of the process, which is known as brainstorming. It will display the current level of understanding of the team. It allows one to see all causes simultaneously as cause and effect diagrams only contain of one page. It helps us to quickly identify if the root cause is found multiple times in the same or different causal tree. It also helps us to eliminate the root cause responsible for the effect or problem. That's all from me. Thank you.
Very good morning to the doctors and all my friends. Today, I am going to talk about the key concepts of cause and effect diagram, and my name is Chang Jong Wei. So, talking about the key concepts of these two, this is actually a visual representation of the factors that may contribute to an observed effect that is being examined, and thus it cannot identify the root cause of the problem. The interrelationships are generally qualitative and hypothetical, and this tool actually focuses the attention of all team members on the specific problem at hand in a structured and systematic way. Next part I will discuss about the sequence relationships of cause and effect diagram. In a properly constructed diagram, building any of the branches in this way will bring good logical sense. We may not have evidence on which cause was actually the culprit, but the statement should make a good logical sense. And there are at least 4 classes of causes that may apply to any problem, which is what, why, when, and where. What is for the objects, for example like machine and materials in the industry. For why will be conditions, for example like motivations, temperature, or level of demand. Talk about when will be the time sequence in a process, for example time of day or sequence in production. And lastly we will talk about where, the effects associated with place, for example a particular production line, the loading dock, the distributor, and a particular branch office. Besides from these 4 documents we talk right now, there are also other examples. Similar examples may use to find the cause to solve problems in other industry. We see examples like manufacturing manufacturing industry, there are 6M. Firstly will be the method. Are there well-written and appropriate training guidelines in place? For the machine, are there any maintenance issues with the tools used or the number of tools available? For the materials, are there any issues getting raw materials from suppliers? And next, for the measurements, is your equipment regularly calibrated and maintained? The fifth one will be the mother nature, means the environment. Is there too much moisture in the environment? And lastly will be the manpower. Are new people adequately trained? And next we will talk about the service industry. For example, like Foodpanda or GrabFood, we usually order right now because of the pandemic of COVID-19. So there are 4S for them, which is surroundings, suppliers, system, and skill. For the surrounding, does the establishment project the right image? Does the customer face problems with low quality food deliveries? And for the system, do customers have policies and procedures in place for all scenarios? And for the skill, does the employees have the right experience to work in this service industry? And the last example I am going to discuss today will be the marketing industry. When we talk about the marketing, of course we think about the people, the promotion, the price, the product. So there are totally 7P in finding a cost in this cause and effect diagram we use to solve problem. So firstly will be the product. Is the product quality good, the perceived image, or the availability? And does the product comes with warranty and with good support and customer service? And next, we talk about the people. Are the sales people, customer service people, delivery people, they are always patient and be helpful to the customers? And the procedure. So how does the workers handle the problems when they arise? And the fourth one will be the promotion. The advertising, sales, PR or branding or direct marketing, partnerships and social media. How do they promote their product? And price. So how does the price of the product or the service compare to other competitors? And the sixth one will be the physical evidence, or we say packaging. So is the packaging come in a cheap or expensive way of package our product? And lastly will be the place, or we say plant. So are your stores convenient for your target customers? So these are the common 7P we use in the marketing industry to solve problem when we talk about use this cause and effect diagram to solve problem. And that's all from me today. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Loyal Ling. So now I'm going to discuss how to create a cause and effect diagram, which are also known as a fishbone diagram. For the first step, define the effect. We need to define a specific problem statement which are known as an effect. Of course, the effect should also be directly related to the goal statement. After we define the effect, we will write it in a box and draw horizontal arrows toward it, so the diagram will look like the head and center spine of a fish. For our second step, identify main causes. In this step, we are going to brainstorming some major causes which are related to the problem by referring to the set of categories which are 6M, 7P or 4S. Please make sure the categories you are using are making sense with the diagram you are creating. For the categories of 6M include methods, machine, materials, measurement, mother nature and also manpower or people. For 4S, which are surrounding, supply, system and also skill. While for 7P include product, people, process or procedure, promotion, price, packaging, and also place or plant. After we brainstorming the major causes, these causes are then drawn to branch off from the spine with arrows, making the first bond of the fish. So now the diagram will look like this one. In our third step, identify sub-causes. In this step, we are going to repeating asking why in each major causes and write down all these things as sub-branches or and also known as a sub-causes. Continue asking why until get a deeper level of problem origin, which are the supporting information to each causes. This process of breaking down each causes is continued until the root causes to the problem have been identified. So now the diagram will look like the skeleton of a fish. For our last step, we need to check logical validity of each chain. Once the fishbone diagram is complete, we need to check the logical validity of each causal chain. It is wise to start with each potential root cause and read the diagram forward to the effect being explained. Be sure that each causal chain makes logical and operational sense. Once we try to read the diagram in this way, the problem will become more clear. After that, we are going to rearrange and redraw the diagram until each chain are logical. For the last step, we are going to double check for the completeness. We need to make sure each major causes are done by referring to the categories of 6M, 4S, or 7P. And also each main branches contain more than 3 causes and each causes are explained in detail and also logically. That is all for me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Noraslin. I'm going to show an example on how to create a cause and effect diagram. Let's go to the first step. The first step is define the effect. In this example, the effect is poor gas mileage. We are going to a chart by position so that everyone can see it. Next, draw the spine. And step 2, identify main causes. The main causes is listed under a few categories. As Louis just explained just now, there are few commonly used categories which are 3Ms MP, 4Ps, and environment. Okay, but in this example, we are going to use 3Ms MP, which is methods, machinery, materials, and people. Next step is step 3, identify sub-causes. Okay, sub-causes is the causes that lead to poor gas mileage. Okay, for example, under inflated tires, carburetor adjustment listed under machinery, and wrong gears, drive too fast listed under methods, and wrong octane gas, improper lubrication listed under materials, and poor maintenance and poor driving habits listed under people. Okay, next step, we are going to add detailed levels to the causes. Okay, to add detail levels, we have to use a series of why questions to fill in the detail levels for one of the causes listed under each of the main categories. For example, is drive too fast, and wrong gears, underinflated tires, carburetor adjustment, proper lubrication, poor driving habits. And okay, let's start with the wrong gear. Okay, why was the driver using the wrong gear? Because the driver couldn't hear the engine. And why couldn't the driver hear the engine? Because the radio was too loud. And maybe the driver have poor hearing. And let's talk about underinflated tires. Okay, why were the tires underinflated? Because no record of the tire pressure, or maybe difficult air stems. And why were the air stems difficult? Because of poor design. And let's talk about next is poor maintenance. Why was maintenance poor? Because lack of money and maybe no awareness. And how about the wrong octane gas use? Why was wrong octane gas used? Because maybe the driver didn't know recommended octane. And why wasn't recommended octane known? Because maybe the driver has no manual. Okay, and we will do the same thing to other causes. And that's all that we have to do to create the cause and effect diagram. It is very simple and easy. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and hi to everyone. So what I'm going to explain now is how to interpret the cause and effect diagram. Okay, the first one is the result. The CE diagram does not provide the answer to the question because the main value of this CE diagram is to serve as a vehicle for producing a list of all known suspect or suspected causes which potentially contribute to the observed effect. At the time generating the CE diagram, it is not usually known whether these causes are responsible for the effect or not. Okay, so next is a well-prepared cause-effect diagram. It's a superb vehicle to help the team member, to help the research members to reach a common understanding of that particular complex problem. And the output of this diagram can be leveraged by prioritizing the potential causes or theories for further investigation by using other tools such as Pareto analysis, scatter diagrams, and histograms. They can be used to analyze the data to establish the causality empirically. By causality empirically, it means by observation or experience rather than pure logic or theories. Okay, next is to check the completeness of the CE diagram. First, you need to have at least ask how much 4 W's and each of the 5 M's or 5 P's that might apply to the effect. Secondly, you need to, if each main branch of the diagram does not have at least 3 or 4 additional branches, the team members that are doing this CE diagram need to reach an understanding why it has less branches. Okay, so that everyone not misunderstand by the CE diagram. What if it's overload of branches? You may need to consider to divide it into 2 or more branches to make it less overloaded. So last but not least is to verify that the cause at the end of each causal chain is potentially root cause. Okay, so next is potential pitfalls and problems. Okay, the first one is you need to understand that this CE diagram does not showing the true effects. You don't know yet. You don't know whether these data are true or not. Okay, so the first one is, first, you may confuse the orderly arrangement of theories with real data. Like I said just now, it may or may not be real data. It may or may not be theories. Okay, so next is you begin the construction of the diagram before fully analyze the information and situation of the causes and effects. What you need to do is to done the research thoroughly, understand it before you make the CE diagram. Okay, so last but not least is you limit the theories that are proposed and considered. You shouldn't do this, although you have to prioritize the potential data. You don't have to limit the theories because you may or may not actually lose the important one in the CE diagram. Okay, so last but not least is what is done next. What can you do after you done your CE diagram? Okay, so first of all, find the principal root causes based on the logical set of theories in hand. So when you have all these theories, of course you want to find the real causes, right? Okay, so that's it. Next, you identify the theories to allow investigation of those importance rather than wasting your time on trivial theories. Okay, so this step you need to be careful. You and your teams need to discuss and analyze the data or the theories thoroughly, so that you can avoid making mistakes on prioritizing your theories. Okay, so last but not least, you select one or more of these data for testing. Collect the data needed for the test and apply one or more other tools, such as, like I said in the slides before, Pareto analysis, histogram, scatter diagram. You can use one of those to test all these data to confirm or deny the tested theories. So that's all from us. Thank you.